Katie here, and I can proudly say that I survived the season 2 finale of Shadowhunters. Barely. So, episode 20, Beside Still Water. Ugh, what an episode. I mean, I'm still trying to come to terms with everything that happened. I put mascara on before I watched the episode because I planned to film straight after seeing it. I should have saved putting the mascara on until after because I teared up. I really teared up. This episode starts with Sebastian because we just can't get rid of him. He washes up on a beach, dying, but still not dead. He uses his blood to form a pentagram in the sand, opens up this hole to Edam where a flying demon comes out. He also says mother. So I knew where this was going. He didn't exactly mean Jocelyn, did he? When the alarm goes off in the Institute, the characters realise that there is a demon out there. They go track it down in the middle of New York. This scene with Alec, Jace, Izzy and Clary hunting down that demon, that was such a good scene. It really reminded me of that moment in the Avengers where you see them all lined up ready to kick some ass. That was exactly what this scene reminded me of. It just looked great. Also, the demon itself looked brilliant. When I watched the promo and I saw this flying creature, I was a little bit concerned and I was keen to see what the whole thing looked like because I get very scared when it comes to effects in this show. But it looked really amazing. Alec, being the badass that he is, shoots it down and you think it's all over, but of course it isn't because the blobs of Ica, those dead parts, form new little demons. Honestly, they looked quite cute, but we know that they're not. They're demons. Whilst these things are multiplying, they realise that Valentine is in Idris and he is on his way to Lake Lynn. So the team have to split up because Alec is determined to stay in the city and keep it safe, but they know someone needs to go to try and stop Valentine. So Clary and Jace end up going through a portal created by Clary. The episode kind of splits off down 3 different paths from here. We have Jace and Clary in Idris, Alec and Izzy staying in New York trying to protect the city, and we also had the story with the Sealy Court as well, which I'll talk about a little later on. First of all, I'm going to focus on Clary and Jace going to Idris. They arrive to warn the army of what's going to happen. They expect Consul Malachi to be on their side. Of course, he isn't. When they actually talk to him and realise that he already knows about Valentine being in Idris, they see the circle rune on his neck. They now know that Malachi has been a little shit and has gone and sided with Valentine behind their backs. So they end up getting taken and held in this tent. They are unable to break out of that. Later on, they get taken for execution. Malachi, the lovely character that he is, explains that Valentine will understand them being killed because it's for the greater good. So he attempts to have Clary murdered first. I really loved this moment where Clary and Jace just look at each other while all of this is happening because everything else going on around them just seems to fall away in that moment. You can see Clary accept the fact that she's going to die here. So it was just a really touching look between the two of them. But obviously that has a different effect on Jace. And it lights up his special glowy angelic abilities, and he is able to break free and kill the consul. Back in New York, Alec and Izzy are panicking because these demons are just multiplying and they are everywhere. But they're not attacking, they're just flying around the city. They manage to find out the rift where these demons are coming from, but they need a warlock to seal this rift, and not just any warlock, but an extremely powerful one. So we have this great moment between Alec and Izzy where Izzy is hinting that they need Magnus for this, and Alec is convinced that Magnus won't help them because he doesn't want anything to do with Alec. Izzy has her clever little moment where she says that she'll go to Magnus instead. Izzy was really great in this moment because she told Alec to stop letting his personal feelings get in the way of what they need to do, and her clever self says that she'll go and see Magnus if Alec won't, which of course makes Alec want to go instead. So I liked how Izzy approached that moment. So we have this scene where Alec goes to see Magnus when Magnus opens the door and calls Alec Shadowhunter. Not the sweet and adorable Alexander that we're used to, but Shadowhunter. That was so painful. Honestly, it was like a bunch of tiny little needles being jabbed into my face. Magnus agrees to help, not for the good of the Shadowhunters or not because of his relationship with Alec, but because he wants to save lives. At the end of the day, he knows how serious this situation is. So he goes to the Institute, and the three of them are talking about the suspicions that Malachi is actually working for Valentine. So they are now aware that Jace and Clary are in an incredible amount of danger. Alec has this sense of urgency to get this situation in New York over with so that he can go to Idris without feeling like he needs to be in two places at once. With his duty as a Shadowhunter, he doesn't want to leave the city at risk. So this rift is the thing that they have to deal with first. This rift sealing scene, one of my favourite scenes in this episode. It was fantastic. We have Alec, Izzy and Magnus all working together, and they're just amazing working together. Yes. I loved the little sense of arrogance that Magnus had in this scene as well. When Alec asked if he was going to be okay, and Magnus was like, I'm the High Warlock of Brooklyn. Yes, you are, Magnus. Yes, you are. He can handle this. He's fine. Whilst he is trying to seal that rift, another demon flies out. He tells Alec to cover his back. Alec has one job, and he messes up a little bit. He doesn't manage to hit the demon. We had this great moment where he's just running back to Magnus whilst this demon is spitting fire at him. And he's just continuously yelling, Magnus! Poor Alec! Magnus, being the incredible warlock that he is, manages to spin around and hurl a ball of magic at this thing before getting back to sealing the rift. When it multiplies into its little cute but evil things, Alec is able to kill all of them. Izzy joins in as well with her whip. It was just a fantastic moment for those three. It didn't go completely smoothly, but it went well. They dealt with it efficiently because that is what they do. Afterwards as well, when Magnus has used up quite a lot of his magic, so he's obviously weaker, you could see the concern in Alec as well. And it was just nice to have that moment in amongst all the drama and tension between them. So that was one of my favourite sequences in this episode. So let's talk about what happens in the Seelie Court. In the last episode, Maya was kidnapped and woke up in the Seelie Court. This week we get a scene between her and the Seelie Queen, where Maya is trying to convince her that she needs to be on the outside to protect her pack. Because whilst the Seelie Queen is assuring Maya that she's safe down there, Maya isn't thinking about herself. Because she's a decent wolf, she thinks about the people around her. She does try to get out of there, but the Seelie Queen stops her and has her sent into the Wandering Wood. Later on in the episode, we have Simon and Luke going down to the Seelie Court. Simon is blaming himself for what has happened to Maya because he knows that the Seelie Queen wanted him in the court. So he definitely feels a sense of responsibility. Whilst they're speaking to the Seelie Queen, they discover that she made a deal with Valentine. I loved Luke in this scene because usually he's the calm and level-headed one, whereas in this scene you could see him get a bit more angry than usual. You could tell how wound up he was by the Seelie Queen. He is also desperate to get back out of there, to let the rest of the downworld know what's happening as well. It is obvious that the Seelie Queen isn't letting Maya go anytime soon. She also wants to speak to Simon, so while Simon stays with her, Luke goes off into the Wandering Wood himself to try and find Maya. I enjoyed these scenes in the wood because we get to see a little bit more of the Seelie realm. It always looks so great and magical. He manages to find Maya, and at the exact same moment, Simon appears as well. And the Seelie Queen tells all three of them to leave. I knew then that Simon had done something. There is no way that the Seelie Queen would just let them out of there. And immediately Luke was suspicious as well, but Simon tries to convince him just to leave while they have the chance. So Luke reluctantly goes along with it. I knew that this wasn't just going to be the end of that. So moving towards all of the drama at the end of the episode, Clary and Jace back in Idris end up coming face to face with Valentine. He has the sword on the cup, and now he knows that Lake Lynn is the mirror. He's ready to do his thing, and he's not gonna let anything get in his way. So just like in City of Glass, we have Valentine killing Jace. This scene was just so well done. It was exactly how I pictured it when reading it in City of Glass. Whilst Valentine is killing Jace, you can see how much he is doing it because he feels like he has to, not necessarily because he wants to. Clary in this moment as well, when Valentine finally lets Jace go and he falls to the ground, you have her immediately trying to reassure him that he'll be fine, trying to get him to keep his eyes open, and you can just see the tear falling down his face. No! But even more heartbreakingly, the moment that had me tearing up was Alec back at the Institute. He feels the pain in his parabatai rune and it just hits him so suddenly and you can just see him completely overcome by it. Then we started getting flashbacks of Alec and Jace throughout their life, all these special moments between the two of them that we've seen in the show, them training together as kids, them becoming parabatai, them hugging. Oh my god, I was just not prepared for that in any way. Heartbreaking. It was just heartbreaking. We had Alec just falling more and more down to the floor and he pulls up his shirt and you can see that his parabatai rune is fading, and once the rune is completely gone, Alec says that Jace is dead. And we cut back to Idris where we see Jace finally die, and I adored how this scene was done, where it just went completely silent and we had Clary crying. It was just such a perfectly done scene. It was just packed full of emotion. Then we have Clary getting overtaken by the anger. She turns around and starts trying to go for Valentine. Obviously she's in no fit state to fight him at that point because she is devastated. So he manages to overpower her and get to the lake. And this is where we see the angel Raziel rising. I have been worried about this scene because again, I didn't know how it was going to look. I was concerned about how they were going to show the angel. I had nothing to be worried about at all because again, it looked just how I pictured it in the book. Also, the Angel Raziel was voiced by Anthony Head. I mean, could you get a better actor to voice Angel Raziel? I love Anthony Head. He's just made for this type of show. So props to the team for managing to get him to do this part. I loved the look of it because you don't fully see what the angel looks like, but you do see the outline of the wings and the robe and you get that glowing light around it. I am just so happy with the way that it looked, and this scene between Valentine and Raziel, it was just so well done. You could see Valentine getting emotional when he first sees the angel, when he's talking about the wish that he wants. He genuinely believes that he's doing the right thing and this is for the greater good. He's finally going to achieve this big thing that he's been working so hard to get to. I just need to give a shout out to Alan for the way he's played Valentine, especially in these final few scenes. He just played Valentine so accurately. Obviously when adapting books to a TV series, there are so many things that you can't follow directly. There are changes that need to be made in order for it to fit a series that has 20 episodes in a season. They can't reach every expectation that you have when reading the books. But what's great about Shadowhunters is that even though they do change a lot of things, they manage to accurately adapt when it's necessary. When you have big moments like this one, they do follow the books accurately. So whilst this season has changed things up a bit from the original stories, this season did actually have the same results with the angel the books had. So I'm really happy with how the writers have done this final episode. So Valentine is getting ready to spill blood for the angel. Whilst Valentine is getting his knife out to cut his hand, we have Clary getting her stele out, ready to do a rune. And I loved how they matched each other, but in different ways in that scene. She frees herself and manages to throw Valentine out of the water. I loved this moment so much because finally we had Clary battering her father in the way he deserved to be battered. She just gave it her all to try and bring him down, and it was fantastic. At one point Valentine does manage to overpower her and he picks up this massive rock ready to bash her head in, despite the fact that just before, whilst he was getting ready to raise the angel, Clary gave this speech about how Valentine doesn't care about anybody but himself, and he said that that wasn't true because Clary was still alive. He was trying to act as though him saving her life was him proving that he loved her. In that moment when he's got the rock in his hand, he tells Clary that nothing's going to stand in his way, not even his daughter, but he doesn't manage to hit her because Clary gets that dagger. She just stabs him over and over again, and it's brilliant. I was so proud of Clary in this moment. She gets to finally kill Valentine. When Valentine finally does die, Clary goes over to the lake, spills her own blood, and like she does in City of Glass, she asks for Jace to be brought back. The angel disappears, she runs back over to Jace, and he wakes up. We have this lovely reunion between the two of them, where they kiss, and it was just such a nice moment. And then Magnus, Alec and Izzy arrive. We have Alec's confusion over how Jace is actually still alive, when his rune disappeared. Jace tells him to look at the room now, and obviously it's back, but Jace doesn't tell Alec how it happened. He just says that he doesn't know. We have this moment where they're all just standing there. They have achieved what they needed to do. Valentine is dead, and it's over. For now. So after all of that heartbreaking and highly emotional drama, we have our little conclusion part of the episode. All of the characters gather in Hunter's Moon. We have a lovely moment between Clary and Izzy, where they're talking about brothers, and Izzy says that she always wanted a sister, and Clary agrees. That was such a lovely moment, but I can't believe Isabel just straight up sister-zoned Clary. Simon appears, and we have a moment between Simon and Clary. They have a lovely conversation, and then Simon moves on to Maya. We do the rounds in this scene and go through all of the main characters. Maya tries to get Simon to explain how they got out of the Sealy Court, because of course she doesn't believe that they got out of there without consequence. Simon distracts her by talking about the two of them dating, so he manages to get out of that situation. He says that he has to go and explain to the vampires everything that happened, and he hugs Maya before he leaves. I knew as he was walking out of Hunter's Moon that he wasn't coming back. I knew he was going to go to that Sealy Court. Poor Simon, once again, just can't catch a break. We had another moment between Clary and Jace, where Clary asks why Jace didn't tell the truth to Alec about the angel. Jace says that he wants to keep it between them. Clary is concerned and asks if everything is okay, and he manages to convince her that it's fine. It's not fine, because he walks out of Hunter's Moon later and ends up in extreme pain, so we've got all that to look forward to next season. We also have this really great moment with Luke. He appears to hug Clary and attempts to hug Jace, but it doesn't happen. I loved seeing a tipsy Luke in this scene. Happy, cheerful, carefree Luke. That is what I am all about. It was just such a cute moment. But then his assistant walks in and questions him about being a wolf. So yeah, happy, smiley, carefree Luke doesn't last for long, because now he has that to deal with. And then we also have Malik. Alec finally gets Magnus to talk to him at the end of this episode. They step outside of Hunter's Moon, and I knew we were going to get a happy reunion in this scene. Not exactly a Hall of Accord style reunion, but something just as beautiful, because it was just the two of them. Magnus admits that he was wrong to think that he couldn't have both Alec and his life as a downworlder. He can manage both those parts of his life, and he also brought up Alec's own advice about relationships taking work. It was just such a cute scene. And then we had Magnus kissing Alec. Just so soft, so pure, so beautiful. I can relax now. Everything is good between the two of them. They're in a loving and mutually happy relationship. A blessing, truly a blessing. Also, I just need to talk about the lighting in that scene. The psychic light sign behind Magnus, it was pink and a little bit of blue. When that was out of focus, it just created a lovely soft pink light for the kiss scene. So it just looked really pretty. I appreciate all those nice little touches that just make a scene even more perfect. They walk off arm in arm. If Malik are happy at the end of this episode, then I am happy. I mean, I'm not completely happy because I'm stressed about everyone else, but I'm happy when it comes to Malik. And then we also have Sebastian. At the very end of the episode, we see these demons that have just seemingly disappeared, even though the characters were concerned about them disappearing at first. Amongst the celebration of Valentine's death, they think that it's just over with. It's not. Those demons are hiding in some sort of cave type thing. They all drop down and form a figure that walks towards Sebastian. This is Lilith. We know that she is a big part of City of Fallen Angels, so of course they had to end this season with her. I am so excited to see more of her in the next season, with the show exploring more aspects of the story. I'm thinking we're going to see what she got up to during City of Fallen Angels, because obviously the book doesn't follow her until the very end. So I'm super excited to see what they've got in store for us. So that's it. That is the final episode of season 2. So I thought it was a fantastic way to end this season. I'm not going to lie, the one thing that I was a little bit disappointed about was Simon. I was holding out hope that maybe we would get the Mark of Cain. However, we don't know what sort of deal he's made with the Seelie Queen at the moment, so I'm sure he's still going to have a difficult storyline to deal with in season 3. Maybe they're doing their own thing instead of the Mark of Cain, or we're still going to get that further down the line, I don't know. But I would love to see it at some point because I thought that was a really interesting part of the story. But honestly, overall, I have just really enjoyed season 2B. I've loved that the show has managed to do its own thing while staying true to the books. They've managed to get the balance just right. I have loved Will Tudor being in the show. He's been such a fantastic Sebastian, and I'm excited to see more of him. One last thing that I need to mention is that I'm going to miss Alan so much. He has played Valentine so amazingly, and he's been a fantastic villain. And I'm just going to miss him being part of the cast. Whilst I am happy that Valentine is dead, I am going to miss Alan a lot. So there are probably loads of things that I've forgotten to mention, but I can't let this video go on for too long, otherwise it will take me days to edit, and I don't want to be uploading this video next week. So anything else that you want to talk about, feel free to leave it down in the comments. Also, do you have any theories for next season? What do you think is going to happen? I am expecting Jordan to be introduced into the show. I hope we get to see more of Lilith, and I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with Simon in the Seelie Court. So yeah, I'm really excited for season 3. I can't wait until they start filming and we start getting all the gossip. When we start getting promos, or if we start getting casting announcements, then I will be back here to discuss it. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos over this past season. I love getting to talk about Shadowhunters with you all. I will see you when we start getting news about season 3. Good luck dealing with the break. I will see you soon. Bye!